Hello and welcome to Southeastern 16's preview of Auburn and Houston on Saturday. You can catch this game on ESPNU 8:30 Central in the Toyota Center in Houston. Don't have a line on this as we're doing this. Looks like KenPom has got Houston as about a 2-point favorite. Auburn, of course, opened its season with a demolition of Vermont. One of the most anticipated games, I think, of the early college basketball season is this one. Blake, I'll throw it to you first to just give some opening thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, enjoy this one if you're a college basketball fan because this should be one of the better matchups of the non-conference slate. I mean, if you are a KenPomian, I mean, these are the two top teams in the country based on the ratings. And look, they both looked the part in game one. Obviously, I was very impressed. Auburn did it against, a better opponent in Vermont, but let's not act like Houston just, wouldn't done the same thing to a lot of teams. They beat Jackson State by 57 in that one. So these two teams came out with something to prove, and they both sent a message heading into the heavyweight showdown on Saturday. This will be WrestleMania 3-esque. Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan. Maybe WrestleMania 17. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock. It's all going down in Houston on Saturday.
Yeah, we just watched Auburn look like world beaters, but Houston didn't look too far off. They absolutely destroyed Jackson State. A lot of people have Houston as their number one team in the country right now, and for good measure. I was a few spots behind nationally than number one because I was a little bit worried. Is Milos Uzan going to step in for Shed like that? Because Shed was just unbelievable. Uzan, 10 assists, 2 turnovers. I mean, the guy was just facilitating everything. They were 12 of 20 from 3. I know it was Jackson State, but when you got a Kelvin Sampson team that is lighting it up from 3 to go along with that defense, man, this is a Goliath versus Goliath matchup here.
Yeah, it's the number 1 and number 2 teams in KenPom as we do this on Thursday. I think one thing that stuck out to me, guys, was just the way the way Auburn did everything basically stuck out. But the Miles Kelly element with what he gave them on 3-point shooting. Auburn was a super efficient offensive and defensive team last year, but between him and Broome, I mean, and other guys who are complementary pieces who can also score, they're going to be a nightmare to defend. And this is facing a Houston team that year in and year out defends as well as anybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's just again, Houston is such a different animal. Like it is just one of those games where I've said it before, and people can pick it apart all they want. I think Kelvin Sampson is the best basketball coach in the country. I just think you see what he's done year after year after year, and people say, well, it doesn't have the national championship and all this other stuff. But I think, like, one game set, like, I mean, think about how different we're looking at this team last year. Like, the injuries hit them, but they had a great chance to, maybe be the team that's facing UConn last year and those kind of things. And so, I mean, man, it's not easy to prepare for a team like this. And remember, too, I mean, these two teams played, what was that, 2 seasons ago? Auburn was a 9 seed in the tournament. They played Houston in the second round. Again, if this Auburn team's a 9 seed, then something went terribly wrong. I don't think that's going to be the case. But, again, Auburn can kind of see some of the things. And I think that game, too, Auburn missed a gazillion free throws from what I remember. But you kind of know what you're facing off against. Again, how Houston's going to defend. They're going to be all over you. It's not going to be easy to get anywhere near the looks you got against, Vermont. And I just think that's the thing with Auburn is they shot the 3 so well in game 1. Like Miles Kelly, he's probably not going to get those same looks. And they need him to make shots here. But they got a lot of other people that can make shots too, as we talked about on Thursday. So, yeah, I mean, this is a great matchup. I don't know how else to put it. Like, these two teams are just loaded with depth and skill. And, again, I think it's how does Auburn attack this Houston team defensively?
We do have one injury for Houston, and they have the horses to back it up, so it's not the end of the world there for Houston. But Javier Francis, their big man, who Sampson is really high on, says he's got another level to him. He's dealing with a groin injury. Didn't play against Jackson State, and I do not think he's likely to play in this game. But while it is a loss for Houston, it really is not going to be that big of a blow. You got JoJo Tugler with his sophomore leap. Jawan Roberts is one of the best big men in the country. He's been there forever. And then you even got 6'6" Arsenault, who's back and playing fantastic. So Francis will probably be out for Houston, but I really don't put too much weight into it because Houston's got the horses.
Let's get to our picks and why. Before we do that, reminder, BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen with the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, college basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA. Head to BetOnline today to get in on all the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here. Max Barr, we'll start with you for picks, then it'll be myself, and then we'll go to Blake to end it.
From a better perspective, from a gambler's perspective, laying off of this one, I think this is just going to be just a treat to watch. Two of the best teams in the country. Rothstein tweeted out Elite Eight level matchup. You could even call it National Champion, Final Four, whatever name you want to dub this game, is going to be one of the best games of the non-conference. Could go either way. My pick is going to be Houston because I trust their point guard play a little bit more. I think both defenses are great. I think both front courts are nasty. They're both physical. Where Auburn has Miles Kelly and Denver Jones and Baker Major, all these sharpshooters, so does Houston. LJ Cryer can light it up. So I think it's a very even matchup physically, spacing-wise. I'm going to go with Houston because I trust Uzan to control the game a little bit more than the kind of conglomerate of ball handlers that Auburn has going on. That's the only reason. I just trust the ball handling a little bit more for Houston. But my gosh, what a matchup.
To me, the key here is venue. Auburn just does not lose at home. 55 straight non-conference games. Auburn struggled last year when it had to go away from home. I know this is not Houston's on-campus arena, but it does play a game or two every year at the Toyota Center. Did beat Texas A&M last year. Look, it's a toss-up. Play this game in Indianapolis, neutral floor. I don't know what I'd pick, but given venue and Auburn having trouble outside its own building, I'll take Houston if for no other reason than that.
In the Tennessee-Louisville game I went to, and then season by season's different, but I'm like, what kind of teams did they struggle against a year ago? And if you look at some of the basic pieces that are back, Auburn struggled more against the teams that got up and down the floor last year. Yeah. They struggled against the high-octane offensive teams like Alabama, Florida, Kentucky sometimes, Tennessee, game like that. But, of course, you also had the NCAA tournament game where it was just a complete half-court grind, and it didn't work out. And so, I think you're going to probably see a little bit more in the middle here. I mean, Houston traditionally, right under Kelvin Sampson, is a team that is going to play, pretty much the way they want to play. They're not going to beat themselves very much. They're going to kind of play their own style and make you really work for it. And I think Max brings up a good point. As Auburn's guards, are they going to be able to work for it on this one? Like, are they going to be able to get the ball to Broome as much as he needs to touch the ball in this game? And again, Kelvin Sampson, defensive wizard, he's already, looking at all the ideas he has to work with to try to take the ball out of Janai Broome's hands and make Miles Kelly beat him, make Denver Jones beat him, and those kind of things. But they got the guards that can guard on the perimeter to do that. I know Auburn fans are wanting me to pick Houston here because then that would, in fact, bring in the Southeastern 16 Kiss of Death into play to where, pretty much you're going to lock up the victory for the Tigers if we do that. So, Max, I didn't do it in the Arkansas video. We all went Arkansas against Auburn or against Baylor. Should I do it here? Should I give the Auburn fans what they want? Give the people what they want by picking the Auburn Tigers.
Oh, no.
The Houston Cougars, Chris. I wasn't done yet. I was setting it up. We like drama here. So Guys, I looked at what I saw from Auburn in game one. I know Houston looked great too, but like you said, Chris, I know the trend should tell me not to pick Auburn in this one, but I'm going to do it anyways. I was so impressed by Auburn in that game, and again, that was not a bad opponent against Vermont, and they just beat them by 50. And I know some of that's going to come back because you're playing just completely different team on the road in a neutral environment, but a lot of Houston fans are going to be there. We know that. So I'm going to pick Auburn, man. I want to see this team in a game like this, and I'm not. I think Houston's really good, and like I said, in a one-game set, I think Kelvin Sampson's as good as it gets. But I'll still stick with the Tigers here in this one, just because I think this team feels different. And I know it's only one game, but we were saying that during the summer too. Like, this is just a fantastic team for the Tigers. We'll see how they handle this Houston bunch.
I have a gripe. Why are we playing this game on a college football Saturday night? I know Auburn doesn't have a game, but it's going to detract so much attention away from a game that could really, I guess if you're a college basketball fan, maybe you're watching anyway, but it's a chance to grow the sport and grow interest. And,
What is college football? What are you talking about? Yeah. It's a college basketball Saturday. What do you mean, Chris?
I'm saying, why would you play on a college basketball Saturday?
Because it's a college basketball game. Of course you're going to play it on a Saturday.
Okay.
It's basketball day.
All right. Well, we'll be watching it along with football because that's what we do here.
No, we won't. We're just watching basketball on Saturday.
Well, you guys are. I've got a football live stream to do, so maybe this is a personal vendetta on my part.
I think
anyway, whatever it is, we'll be covering you afterwards, SEC, for basketball and football on Saturday, and there's going to be a lot of it. Hit the like button. That helps us out. Hit the subscribe button and enable your notifications so you know when we do discuss this game. And if you're interested in advertising, reach millions a year. Caroline.smith at Southeastern14.com. For Max Barr, and Blake Lovell, I'm Chris Lee. It's been a day already.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
I'm Ron Burgundy. Thank you for watching us here at Southeastern 16, presented by BetOnline.